The Unit 1975 Terror of the Zygons set is an interesting follow-up set from the Unit 1971, the Claws of Axos set. In that set we had a brand new variant of Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart, along with the first ever releases of Mike and Sergeant Benton. Yes, two figures again, like Sarah Jane and Beau Fermanagh, a lot of Doctor Who fans had been waiting for. So to follow on from this, we have the Unit 1975 set. We'll just take a look at the packaging for this. Very much the same as what we get with these 3 packs. Very nice packaging with your current Doctor Who logo, with that silver and blue motif going all across the set. You have little bits of Gallifreyan text, you have the TARDIS, you have the figures which are clearly displayed inside, and then we have images of the 3 figures just at the back. I've always said I would have liked a little bit more on the back of the sets, but hey ho, who cares? Right, so let's take a dive into this interesting set. Right, so I'm going to change things up a little bit. I'm going to start with Sergeant Benton. This is the second release of the character that we've got. As far as it looks like the exact same sculpt as what we got on the previous version of the figure. You have things like the belt with all of your equipment inside just here, which is really, really nice. And of course you have things like the braces. The trousers, to be honest, I'm not really the greatest fan of the trousers. I think that the paint sculpt could be a little bit different. It's painted green, like a lime green. Not my favourite colour in the world, I'll be honest with you. I think it looks a little bit sickly. You just have your black shoes at the bottom there. So yeah, nothing too much to write home about. Head sculpt is very nice. The beret is painted in a very nice cream colour, and you can just make out the unit logo, which is just on that badge there on his beret, and you also have a black band just at the bottom there. The face is absolutely exceptional. As I said earlier, the uniform is the same sculpt as before, but the paint applications are largely different, namely because it follows a camouflage paint deco, which I think is very fitting, and it matches what you saw in Terror of the Zygons. So you have different shades of green and little bits of brown to give it that camouflage look. You have the unit badge just there, and you also have the 3 arrows to signify that he is a sergeant. He's also wearing these brown gloves, although you can see the veins on the hand there, which is quite amusing. Also carries a gun, and this is actually a brand new sculpt as far as I'm aware. Yeah, people really criticise the Unit 1971 set because the guns weren't accurate to the guns that were represented in that story. So what we have here is a new sculpt of gun. Very nice, it's all painted black. You have the little hinges in there. Quite a bit of detail has gone into this. But oh my god, this is an absolute pain to get in his hand. And I'm not even going to bother posing him as if he's going to shoot someone, because if I try that, usually the figure falls over, which is a crying shame. You are able to do it, but at a cost. If you get him on display and then you think, oh, it looks nice, later on in that night or whatever, it'll fall over, and then all of my figures will fall over, and it's like a domino effect. It's not very nice. For the record though, it's very nice that Character Options decided to include the gun with this figure along with the other unit soldier in this set. Don't worry, we'll get to that. And I think overall this is a very welcome re-release for Sergeant Benton. So here is one of the most interesting things about the set. You want to come along, Unit Soldier? Oh, he's just dropped his gun, but never mind, we'll carry on. Come on, soldier. Say hello to the audience. Hi. Is that it? You're just going to say hi? I'm a unit soldier. Here is the unit soldier. Rather good, isn't it? I'm not going to go on for too long about this figure, because the figure is mainly the same. You have the same uniform, the same trousers, the same shoes, and little things like the gloves being brown, it's the same. There's little things like this bit here, you don't have the arrows here because this is not Sergeant Benton. This is unit soldier. Head sculpt. This guy looks rather familiar. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is the unit soldier. Yeah, don't you think he looks a little bit like what's his name? He disappeared after that whole thing with the spiders. Yeah, and he was disgraced. A disgraced captain after the whole incident with those dinosaurs. Yeah, what was his name? Captain Yates? Was it Captain Mike Yates? You know, he looks just like him. In fact, it is. Yeah, joking aside, Character Options have decided to use the same head sculpt which was used on the Mike Yates figure from the Unit 1971 set, because Mike Yates was in the Claws of Axos. However, Mike Yates' last appearance in the TV series, if you don't count the Five Doctors that is Planet of the Spiders. Yeah, he didn't appear in Terror of the Zygons. So, what we have here is Mike Yates painted with the moustache and being labelled as a standard unit soldier. I mean, why did we get this? I would have much rather had another version of Harry Sullivan coming out in this set, if I'm honest with you, without the overcoat, just to make this set all the more interesting. I understand that Character Options use the cost-cutting exercise, but honestly, this so-called unit soldier, or if you want to be really funny about it, Mike Yates disguised as another soldier with a moustache. Yeah, this is for sure one of the strangest action figures that Character Options have ever made. Period. The only other thing I can say is, if you want to learn more about the original Mike Yates figure and the original Sergeant Benton figures in terms of their articulation, then I do suggest that you do check out the Unit 1971, the Claws of Axos set review that I did a while back. I go into even more detail about these because these are essentially the same figures with paint applications. But overall, apart from all of that, this is still a nice figure if you just ignore the fact that this is Mike Yates with the moustache. But still, what the hell, character. Right, finally, I'm going to be very positive about this set. I think I've sounded very negative about this set, but believe it or not, I don't hate this set. I think the biggest saving grace for this is this figure right here. We have a brand new version of the Fourth Doctor, and that is really nice because I love new variants of my favourite Doctor. This is the long awaited release of the Fourth Doctor with his Tom O'Shanter hat and his scarf, as you see in some parts of Terror of the Zygons. Very, very welcome release indeed. And this release now means that it is possible we might get a revision of the Talons of Wengxiang version. I'm not holding out on that, but it would be very nice if we did get a proper version of that figure, let's say, with the Deerstalker hat and all of the other gubbins that comes with that version of the outfit that he wore in that story. But anyway, rambling. Let's finally talk about this figure at long last. Here we are. We have the same duffel coat sculpt, which you've seen previously on Fourth Doctor figures, like the Sontaran Experiment version used this. You had it on the Genesis of the Daleks version. So I think it's plausible that you use it again for this version. But of course we have a few differences. One thing I'll say right off the bat, the waistcoat underneath, it's so good. You have your yellow and your blue stripes going all around it. It's a checkered pattern essentially. And the cravat is finally painted the correct colour after all this time. Oh my lord. Finally, character options have done us proud. What I really do love about this as well though, is if you just move this, you can see the safari jacket underneath, the season 12 safari jacket, because he did wear this for the majority of Terror of the Zygons. I think that's an excellent little piece of detail that they've included on this figure. So all around, great job, character. As I said, duffel coat is very baggy, as duffel coats usually are. It's painted brown. And another good thing which I really dig about this figure is the trousers. It's the same trouser sculpt that we've all seen ever since the very first Wave 1 Fourth Doctor figure released back in 2008. Grey trousers with your brown shoes. I'll just take a closer look at the brown shoes because I think they are really underrated. You've got all the nice little detail in there, like the little air holes, and you have a brown paint job with a little bit of a black wash on top, just to give it a little bit of life. But what I really love about the trousers, it's the best trouser sculpt we've ever had on a Fourth Doctor, is they've put dots all over it. It looks even more like the real thing, and I honestly love this little addition to detail. They really didn't need to do this, but I think it makes it look a little bit more real. And I think going forward, if they ever did do more versions of the Fourth Doctor with these trousers, then I definitely think they should use the same paint sculpt for the trousers as seen here. The main highlights of this figure, however, is the new scarf and the Tom O'Shanter hat. And with the Tom O'Shanter hat, you have a new head sculpt. Now, some people have been hating on this head sculpt, saying it doesn't look like Tom Baker. And I have to disagree. I think this is actually a very good head sculpt. Maybe the eyes look a little bit too big, but at the same time, Tom Baker did have poppy eyes. He was notable for having a lot of wide-eyed expressions during his time on the show. So, you know, I don't think it's the best head sculpt that I've ever done. But if you look at side profiles like this, it looks brilliant, doesn't it? It's up there, I'd say. It's better than a lot of the other Tom Baker head sculpts that we've ever had, like with the purple lips and stuff. So, yeah, I actually dig this. And the hat's very nicely detailed. You have things like your silver badge and your striped white bit at the top there. And you've got the feathers and you've got the red just at the top there. The hair sculpt underneath is very good. And you also got the black ribbon at the back there as well. The scarf painted red with stripes of different colours. You have yellow, different shades of blue and white. Very nice sculpt of the scarf, and you also have different coloured tassels of the scarf there too. Just give you a closer look at that. Yeah, that's nice. The articulation is the same as a lot of Fourth Doctor figures, so you have the articulation in the shoulders, in the biceps, elbows, the wrists, and you have 360 at the waist. There's thigh articulation and knee articulation, and the legs can move up and down and move from side to side, but not as much because of the other coat. But finally, the head, it can move a little bit, but it is hindered by the scarf. I wouldn't try removing the head in case you damage the figure. So that's it, folks. A very interesting set indeed. I think it's let down slightly by the odd choice of including Mike Yates with a moustache, but I think the highlights are easily the re-release of Sergeant Benton. Very nice to have another Benton on my shelf. And we also have a brand new Fourth Doctor, which is one we've all waited for so many years now, and it's very nice to finally have him displayed alongside my Zygon on the shelf. Once again, folks, thank you so much for watching this Doctor Who action figure review. If you liked this, then please like this video. If you're new to the channel, then you're very welcome to subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications every time I upload some brand new Doctor Who content. And comment below, tell me what you think about this particular action figure set. And stay tuned until the next one.